Hi, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus again. I just want to go on into it. You know, I want you who are listening to me on this day, what is happening in Kuwait, this movement by Russia is an example of a government, of a nation, of an individual that have totally disregarded any other God outside of themselves. There might be a God that they have some respect for, but it has nothing to do with anything that's spiritual. In other words, the thing that makes them God is that they have military might. They have that which dominates people's lives, and they are willing to use it. That gives them, in their own minds, authority over others. And anyone that they yield to is because they got the same kind of power. So what I want you to realize, ladies and gentlemen, that what is happening in Russia and where it has happened in many other places, anytime you see there's an aggressive nation coming in, infringing themselves, I want you to know it's evil at its highest order. It is evil at its highest order. There's no other way to look at it. You know, I wanted to talk about this war, but I think the subject matter more befitting is the enslavement by the fear of death. Enslavement by the fear of death. Now, let me see if I can kind of set that up a little bit. You know, we have something what we call prosperity preachers. Everybody knows what prosperity preachers are about. They are about getting your money, doing whatever it has to take to get your money. Some people refer to it as being a form of a Ponzi scheme because after all of the money comes together, the only one that has the glory of the money is the one at the top. They're the ones that have the mansions, the Rolls Royces, the jets, more than one. They are the ones that got the heavy bank accounts. They are the ones whose kids get to do all the things that they really want to do at the expense of all of you innocent young people, innocent old people, blind people who give them your money so they can do those things while they got you on your knees praying to a God. Well, the point of the message is, ladies and gentlemen, if you could get it, it's very simple. You giving your money, trying to buy blessings from God. That's what it's all about. Planting seeds, buying. You have reduced God to a man. Reduced God to being no more than a man. Reduce God to quid pro quo. Give me $1,000 and I'll give you this. Give me this, I'll give you that. Love me, I'll love you back. A God, nothing but Satan all the way. And people are blind and feeding into it, feeding into it, feeding into it. And it's the same way with the systems of the world, even the American system. It's the same way. You got the system serves as the warden. The boss, they are the secret societies. You don't know who they are. But they are making sure through their system everything they want done is implemented. And all of the stuff that happens through the world is at uh, the direction of those in the secret society implementing all of this, even all the way down to Donald Trump, even all the way down to the South trying to go back and start the civil, what they call that, racism and that slavery period all back over again. People trying to say you got no rights. You got people in America lifting up Hitler, got people in America lifting up Putin and all the things that they're doing. All of that. All of that. Nothing but the kind of things that takes place in a world where you're being treated the same way the profiteers are with the ministry. These guys have taken everything that God has given to all people, That's what the systems of the world have done, whether it's here or there or someplace else. They've taken up what they could and put it under their systems, under their warden. And we, the people, have had to pay the price, suffered all the way, not knowing the truth that what they have done robbed the people. And the people don't know God because you got guys out there ripping you off talking about give them your money. Well, it's the secret. The secret, basically, my friends, is like, for instance, if these guys are trying to sell you God and you decide to stop giving them money and start doing to one another as you have others do unto you, and start acting out the role, I guarantee you that which you've been praying for will come back to you 1,000 times faster than anything you can pay for. It'll come back to you 1,000 times faster than anything you can pay for. If you just start treating people the way you want to be treated. You start doing things for people, doing things for one another, looking out for one another, protecting one another. Then the preachers can't rip you off. Same thing with the systems. If you start selling the, hey, well, we're going to homelessness, and no, it's not right. I don't want to be homeless. Who wants to be homeless? No one. So we got to protect that. We got to make sure that these things that are essential for survival, we're going to protect that system. No, I don't care what you're saying. If you can't do this, then we'll have to do this without you and create a different kind of system. When you start doing stuff like that, you'll start seeing positive things happen. That's, my friend, that's when that system starts getting straightened up. And that's when you have what many people call the forgiveness of sin. And you've heard the expression, there's no forgiveness of sin without the shedding of blood. And if you've done any research on it, you can find people explaining that all kinds of ways. And every way that you listen to it explained sounds perfect, but they're all different. So I say, like, there's a brother by the name of, I think it's a prophet, Brother Jennings, yeah. And he's a pretty good brother I see him a lot on YouTube. He attacks what he sees as evil right where it is, and bite his book, and he doesn't bite his mouth, and he backs it up with scripture. Now, sometimes I hear him say stuff like, if you can't follow scriptures, then you're talking about something that has nothing to do with God. Now, I don't know what he's talking about by saying that. I mean, that's for him. Anybody who has a relationship with God outside that book, then to him, that doesn't mean anything what Jennings is saying, because he is the advocate. He is the one that knows different. He knows that Jennings is lying. He knows that Jennings said, well, the book says that. I don't care what the book said. Whatever's in the book, it came from somebody who said the Spirit said. And my attitude about it is this: knowing human beings like I do. I watched a guy sit up there one time, he was talking about the scripture, and he was pissed off because in the book they had some white guys up there talking about Jesus and God and stuff like that. And it was such an offensive thing. And yet they were willing to think that everything else in the scripture is true. You ask them, say, do you believe him? Ask anybody. Do you think man could be true to God? They will tell you no. But yet still they'll say these words. They know how people are. And yet, well, all I can say is this. This is all I can say. I'm not going to argue against them or anything like that. I'm going to simply say, if your belief in God is due to the Bible, due to scriptures, right on. I'm not knocking that. If your relationship with God has nothing to do with a scripture or book, and it's God, I say to you, right on. Now, what do I mean when I say it's God? It's about love. It's about lifting. It's about mending. It's about bringing. It's about uniting. It's about oneness. And when it comes down to socialization, it's about heaven. As you've heard me say a zillion times, the Father, the creator of the universe, has made it possible that he on this earth, where people live, who would require certain sustenance for survival, the earth was blessed with them, instilled in all kinds of places, in the earth, on the earth, above the earth, invisible and visible. And the ideas comes through the imagination of the minds of individuals that would alert them to what is available to them and the gifts that have been given to them, each of them, to participate in the creative process allows each of them to do just that, create all of the things that are done by the hands of man. For what purpose? For humankind, in such an abundance that none would ever be without. That is as plain as daylight, ladies and gentlemen. That is as plain as daylight. It is as simple as taking your kids to the playground, leaving them there, meeting other kids, and everybody just having, little kids now, just having a good time. That's all I'm saying. Life is just that simple. All of the things that we've done, creating computers, going to the moon, going to the Mars, that's nothing compared to what we can do. Curing any sickness and diseases are nothing compared to what we can do. Everything, baby, we can do it all because we are allowing the Spirit to live in us and not being curtailed by some secret societies, not being curtailed by some systems, not being curtailed by some demonic people who want to believe that they are better than God. And allow the flow of the love of God to be in us and allow our individuals, to be ourselves, and open to do all the things. Our aim is to do it. Our aim is to do it. We're not out here wondering what we're going to do. Our aim is to do it. That's our aim. That's what our aim is. How you going to do it? Well, let's see. We'll just do it, and we're going to eliminate all of that which causes pains and suffering. So there's no room for darkness. I just want to leave that with you, ladies and gentlemen, let you know what my mindset is. And I'm hoping that maybe some of you other guys and ladies got mindsets likewise. Oh, one other thing I wanted to say. I wanted to say this thing about Jesus. I was getting ready. We was talking about the blood. Nobody can be forgiven for sin without the shedding of the blood. And people were saying, like, in olden days, old biblical days, back before when Moses and those guys, they would sacrifice animals, goats and stuff like this. They would sin, if they want to call it that, and they want to ask for forgiveness. They'd kill a goat, shed his blood, and get up off. And I guess they walk away feeling that they were forgiven. And so when Jesus, now you're going to find all, as I said earlier, you're going to find all kind of debates and arguments in this particular area. So I'm just telling you what I see, where I sum it up. I sum it up to the easiest way to understand it. People say Jesus went to the cross and shed his blood for the forgiveness of sin, that those humans that would accept Jesus and believe that Jesus was the Son of God, etc., 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 then their sins would be forgiven because they wouldn't have to shed their blood. Jesus shed blood for them. Now, to me, that sounds beautiful, doesn't it? That sounds beautiful. That sounds beautiful. But it sounds like something that comes out the mouth of the devil. Yeah. Why do I say it sounds like something that comes out the mouth of the devil? Because it put Christians in a position, and others, I guess, but I'm talking about Christians specifically, in a position that they do nothing. They become good do-nothings. They become so good do-nothing that when somebody come along with some old other philosophy that's detrimental to the society that they have established, they will join over there when you had once held up telling the truth as something that to be glorified. Now you backing up a lie and calling it an alternative truth just to justify you being acting like you lost your mind. Well, here's the thing. No, he's not landing on that cross, on that shedding blood to forgive your sin. He's conquering sin. He's conquering. Over here in this world where we're living right now, they're saying in order for you to exist over here, you got to be led by sin. Led by sin, I don't care how good you are. You got to be led by sin. Why? Because that's why you're living. You ain't getting rid of it. You're living in sin just like you breathing. It's world is sin. And so to breathe is understanding that it's sin. To understand that you're in bondage because you're not free. It's something that becomes natural to a person. I don't know why and how close you got to be with God or this or that, but to some people it does, to some people it doesn't, and some people see miracles, and some I don't know all about that stuff. All I know is you got to be what you are. And so for I see it, you have to wake up. When you wake up, you become a light in darkness. And what will happen, my friends? One person waking up could wake up a whole bunch of them. I don't know. But if it did, if something happened to hesitate the stress and the hell that's going to come at you for waking up, and all of a sudden the masses got a chance to wake up, they can change things. But foregoing something like that happening, you wake it up, the system says, okay, we'll forgive you. We'll forgive you. But you better shut up. If you don't shut up, they're going to do everything to try to belittle you, make you seem like you're nothing. If you do something bad enough, they'll put you in jail. And if you do something bad enough for that, they'll put you in prison for a long period of time. And if you do something better than that, when I say better than that, when I'm talking about bad now, some people got crazy stuff to do. Some people go out and try to cause pain and suffering to others. I'm not talking about that. Anybody that goes out and try to cause pain and suffering to others, violent pain and suffering to others, basically, I want to say deserve what they get. But I'm going to hold back on that because I ain't get that too much thought. I want to think about it before I really. But other than that, no, my friends. So what you got to do is stand up for what is right. And I'm not telling you, anybody that's in that position knows that. And what happens? They end up shedding their blood. But here's the big secret. These people who shed their blood, Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, people like Gandhi, these guys who shed their blood for the righteousness' sake, they are not seeing what they're doing like we do. We look like it's a fearful thing. It's a frightening thing. But these people have ascertained a reality that God really is God. And they are accepting that. And they see all of this. And it is not all of this to them anymore. It's bull. And they're glad to get out of it. They helped. They did everything they possibly could. They spoke to us. They marched on the streets for us. They put down the marching on the street for us. They stood up there. They denounced their bosses. They just told it just like it is to us. And by doing that, the system was pissed with them. Their bosses were pissed with them. The government was pissed with them and said they got to shed their blood. And they shedded their blood. Each of them knew it, just like Jesus. And what the rest of us do? Whoa, we went and sat down. And now look at the state that we're in today. Look how I keep going back into that stuff, huh? Look at the state that we're in today. Sitting down. And you still got those preachers out there trying to get some more money and buy some airplanes. You got part of the government trying to send you to hell. Another part trying to just stay above water. And some people out here trying to tell you there's a God that's ready to set you free. All you got to do is resist the evil. Just resist it. I know it's been bred in you, but resist it. And aim at something different. And what I'm telling you is beautiful. But I know there are those amongst us all who can say it so much more beautiful than this. And that's what we need to hear. So come on out and tell that wonderful story about the beauty of life when we turn away from the evils of mankind and start doing the beauty of mankind. All right? Till next time, Eddie Marker say,